What do you do when you and your spouse don't seem to agree on anything? I'm talking hobbies, types of food, religion, sports. It just feels like you butt heads about everything. That's a really tough thing. Let's talk about it. I'm Catherine. I'm a licensed therapist and a virtual coach, and today we are talking about this exact question that was sent in previously by you. It says, we don't seem to agree on anything. Food, finances, religion, hobbies, 13 years married, and everything is a battle. Before I jump in, please take a second and like this video and subscribe so that you can stay up to date on all of the new videos that are coming out. First, I want to say that it's totally understandable that you would feel so exhausted from every single thing feeling like a battle. That's just like really not a fun place to be, where you feel like every single thing, you don't get along, you don't see eye to eye. And after 13 years, like that's a really long time in history together. So it can just kind of feel like there's not anything new, there's no spark, and all of the same things that maybe one of you used to like, now you don't. Like there's just a lot of changes that happen in such a big time. So I just want to like kind of normalize that the relationship goes through ebbs and flows. And right now, if it feels like things have been really rough, it is a good place to get curious as to why, so that there can be healing and growth, and so you can stop arguing about everything. The good news is that disagreements don't have to equal that you have an unhealthy relationship. I would actually say that disagreeing without it turning into conflict is a way for you guys to dig deeper, to not just have a surface level relationship where you just talk about the weather or like, how was your day? Like it's nitty gritty. You get into life together. And sometimes that can fall away after 13 years unintentionally, just like the longer you've been together, you feel like you really know that person, and then you kind of start assuming, or just lots of different variables can come into play when you've been together for a really long time. But I just want to encourage you that like, if you're in this place, it's not hopeless. I would also pose some questions to you. So let's think back to when you first were dating and then when you got married. Those things that right now you're like, we don't agree on X, Y, or Z. Did you agree back then? Because I would say if at that place you didn't also agree, like you're like, yeah, we just had a lot of differences and differing opinions and thoughts, and you were okay with it because you still got married, then to me that signals that there's actually a bunch of underlying issues going on, because those variables are the same. Oh, we didn't really agree on a lot. Oh, we didn't really agree a lot 13 years later, 13 years before. So what happened in the middle, right? I'm assuming that there's a lot of layers of potential conflict, potential negative experiences that you guys have gone into, both individually and together in your relationship. And that part needs a lot of healing for it to not feel like you're at odds with everything. Because let's say that, yeah, maybe you disagree on your favorite takeout food or your favorite genre of movies or whatever, music is no longer aligning. That stuff can be okay and can be like worked through, and you can still find balance and harmony and connection if the bigger stuff is also aligned. However, if you're like, we are having a really hard time raising our children because we have completely different views on that, and you're not working on that, it's going to be really hard to work on, like I said, those other things like music and food and stuff like that. So it's like the deeper, bigger value-based things that really have to be addressed and talked through. And even if you're like, we still don't feel like we can agree on it, there's a difference between those disagreements turning into conflict and this mutual respect and understanding that we disagree, but we find value in the fact that what, you know, they have to say and bring to the table is just as important as what I have to say and bring to the table. So all of those things really need to be taken into context here. And if you're like, well, no, we used to really agree a lot and things have just changed and now we don't really agree, well, then I would also get curious to know, like, in those changes, because you're going to change, like when if you have kids, like that changes you. If you go through job changes, that changes you. If you move, like life just changes you. So I guarantee you guys are not the same people that you were 13 years ago. And if you're expecting to be that, then I would also shift that mentality both towards yourself and your spouse. But as those changes have happened, are you like getting to know that new version of yourself and of your spouse? Like, are you guys continuing to pursue and date one another as those changes happen? Or do you feel like there's been this disconnect where you really haven't been in tune with each other, and then it just feels like you woke up one day and wow, we don't agree on any single thing? So for me, I would say regardless of where you're at, there's a lot of like exploring that needs to be done to find cohesion together again. If you're at a place where you're like, I just know that we disagree on everything and I feel like I don't know them anymore, then I would really challenge you, get to know them. Go on dates together. And if you're like, well, I don't think we even agree on the same kind of dates, okay, you can alternate. You pick this date, and even if it's something that doesn't sound super exciting, I care about you and I'm gonna turn towards something that you're saying is important, and we're gonna do that thing. And then you can alternate, and then you get to pick whatever the thing is. So like, there are workarounds basically to this initial we don't agree on anything. If you're like, we don't even agree on how to do chores, like everything is so different, like we just don't see a line, I would really also challenge you to watch the thoughts that are going on inside of your head. Because if that is the continual narrative over and over and over, we don't agree, I can't believe they think like this, what is happening, who are they? Then all of that does is really just continue to spin this negative cycle and narrative for both of you. And it's going to be really hard for you to even have this open desire to want to learn about this new version of them. So I really challenge you, one, work on that inner narrative. How do you see them? How can you verbally and internally shift the mindset you have? Verbally, you can practice that by being appreciative, by saying, thank you so much for doing blah, blah, blah. You know, thank you for caring about this. If there's something that you're like, wow, I would never have cared about that, but they are really like passionate about it, that could be a benefit and a blessing to your relationship. So make sure that you vocalize and let them know. I also want to give you some other thoughts that you can ask yourself and ask your spouse to help you, because a lot of the times, like I said, it's not really the surface level stuff that's the problem. It's the deeper stuff that probably has compounded over time and is just causing this distance, which then makes all the surface level stuff become even more highlighted. Here's the first question to ask yourself. Is this about having control, feeling heard or respected at all? Are there past resentments that are making these disagreements feel bigger than they are? Are you guys approaching conversations to prove a point and be right, or to actually like really listen and hear one another? When you dig deeper, a lot of times you'll find that it's not actually the topic that you're arguing about, it's how you're communicating and how you're then arguing that is causing such opposing issues between you. If in the past 13 years you have felt like there's just been a lot of conflict, I just want to encourage you that you can create new patterns. Even if right now it just feels like the default is completely in disarray, there's chaos, there's arguments all the time, there is still always a chance for new patterns to be created, healthy tools and skills to be implemented so that you can shift the narrative and the trajectory over the next 13 years of your marriage is going to go. So the first thing that I would really encourage you to do is to set a time to talk when you're both calm, not in the heat of the moment if there's something going on between you guys. Really talk about where you're going, what you guys want to do. If you feel like you need some outside help in your marriage, like just level with each other and see if you can even agree that like things need some work. This also might be a really good time to start talking about the things that you value. Maybe those things have shifted a long time ago or recently, and you guys just need to figure out and get curious together as to like, what do we care about as a family? What do we care about in our marriage? Or if you're parents, as parents, like what do we want our day-to-day life to look like? What do we want the next 5 years to look like? And start kind of zooming back and taking like a bird's eye view of how you want your life to be, so that you can then get more detailed in the nitty-gritty and start making those things happen on a day-to-day basis. I would also really encourage you to separate any issues from identity, meaning that if there is a problem, don't make it mean something about their character, and the same towards you. If there's an issue that they keep bringing up to you, it doesn't have to mean something negative about who you are as a person. It's again just that miscommunication between you that needs to be improved upon. And then I would also encourage you to seek ways to compromise. Just like I said, maybe alternating on date night, or alternating on the TV shows that you would watch, whatever it is that feels like maybe a surface level thing, find ways that you can compromise to work together on that. There's honestly so many more things that I would love to ask you face to face if you're the one that sent this question or if you relate to this. But this is kind of just a good starting point. And if you're like, I want to keep this conversation going, me too. It really fires me up. And I am so passionate about being able to help couples just like you, whether you've been married for 13 years or 13 seconds, bettering your relationship and making the communication better and healthier together is so important. I really invite you to check out the Relationship Renewal program. This is my signature program that has online video modules that you get lifetime access to, as well as my huge workbook that go with all of the videos. And then we meet like a Zoom call week to week, and we talk through the things that you're learning in the videos, the things that you're implementing, the things that you're getting stuck on week to week, and we dive into your specific relationship and situation. And it's so incredible in a group setting just to see how many things overlap. Like, a lot of times we can believe this lie that our marriage and relationship is the only one that's struggling like this and no one else really relates, but that is not true. There's always so much overlap in, wow, we've been struggling with this too. Or like, yes, we had an argument right before this call. Like, those things are really encouraging and empowering to see in a group setting. And so I really encourage you to check it out. The link to all of the details and where to sign up is in the description below. I really hope that this video is helpful for you. I hope you feel encouraged and seen. And I really do want to link arms and help you outside of this video as well. So make sure to check out all the resources that I have for you in the description. Please like this video. If you have other thoughts or questions, put them in the comments, and make sure you're subscribed so that you can continue to get relationship communication tips and all the things and videos to come. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.